Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix Ultra Magnus. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. Ultra Magnus. Awesome Autobot character within the Transformers universe. One of my favorite Autobots of all time. And, I actually had the original G1 action figure growing up. And that was at a time where I really couldn't appreciate the character, the toy, didn't understand the entire story, of who he was. And as an adult, this is the first Ultra Magnus action figure that I've ever purchased. And I bought this last year at an area Ollie's. It was on clearance. And when I first saw the figure, I didn't know what it was. I had to look at the box and, do some research online and figure out, what exactly this mystery package was. And I drove back to the store, which was roughly 30 miles from where I lived. And I picked it up, brought it home and put it in a storage container and didn't think anything about it until about a week ago. I started collecting Transformers again. And I decided to pull him out and do a product review. And in that process, I actually repainted the figure and weathered it to do some toy photography with. So those of you who have seen the Netflix series, you understand the color scheme that Hasbro used on this figure, because Ultra Magnus was killed by Megatron in the series. And it was a really jaw-dropping moment for me to see that. It was just very surreal. And, I think they did a phenomenal job with that series. I really liked the direction that they went in with that. So here we have the action figure. And, of course, this is War for Cybertron 08, the Leader Class Ultra Magnus repaint for Netflix. And you guys can see up close, he's got a lot of nice paint apps. You can see where I've weathered it. All the panel lines and things like that are visible. I also repainted the head sculpt. I did some silver accents there, repainted the face mask. Took the head sculpt apart and repainted his eyes from red to blue. Put some silver in here for the truck lights. And I repainted his ion cannon. And I had doubts about that. When I first repainted it, I almost decided to wash it all off. But I left it as is. So all the way around, you can see the weathering. His head, of course, is on a nice ball joint. Forward and lateral movement there at the shoulder. Bicep rotation. Single joint to the elbow. And wrist swivel there. Waist rotation. And he's got forward and lateral movement there at the thigh. Thigh rotation. Bend at the knee. And his foot pad will pivot. So really cool figure. I like Ultra Magnus. I like the way this action figure looks. And for comparison, we'll bring out the Voyager class Siege Optimus Prime. They look really good together. But the thing about this, when you look at this figure, you realize that Ultra Magnus is supposed to be a lot larger than Optimus. A more intimidating presence. Where Optimus is driven by compassion, Ultra Magnus seems to be driven by resolve. If you want to know the exact height of the action figure, in inches, he stands right at 7 inches tall. For those of you on the opposite side of the pond, that's 17.5 centimeters. So really cool looking figure. Let's go ahead and remove his ion blaster. And we'll bring out all of the parts to transform him. And you guys can see that I've weathered all of these. Applied a wash to them. Very light stuff, but, just to give it some character. So the first thing we'll do is we'll pop on the leg sections, and you just take the heel on the foot pad and fold that up. And you're just gonna push these in like so, and you see these two clips, they're gonna go in and clip in there like that. And for the wrist section, he's got these ports here where the wrist section will plug in if you put the right one on. They are specific one arm or the other. Here's that. And we'll go ahead and put on the chest piece, and we have to take his torso and pull that out, push this down, unlock his arms, cab to fold down, fold his head in, put that back, lock his arms back in place. And you're going to take this and this is going to put this back. It's going to clip right in place like this. Okay, there's the back, there's the front, and slide these on. There we go. There you have Ultra Magnus. You guys can see how he looks. Really awesome action figure. If we bring Prime out again, that looks awesome. They look really cool together. I like that. All the way around, this is a really, really nice looking action figure. And you can see the battle damage and things that they've painted in. Just a really, really cool looking character. And if you give him his ion blaster, he looks even more awesome. You can put him in different poses and things like that. Really cool. Okay, to transform Ultra Magnus from his battle mode into his truck mode, we are going to remove the shoulder sections off. I'm going to take this section off. Remove those two sections. And remove the forearms. In truck mode, you want to take his arms and turn them at a 90-degree angle like this. I'm going to take the cab, and before I do that, let me take this and rotate that down. Pull the cab straight out like so. Drop that down and rotate the cab around like this and line it up with the front. Unlock his shoulders. They're going to pivot. This peg is going to go into this port. Like that. It's going to lock into place, and you can straighten out his arms after you do that. His feet have these two sections there right above their legs. Make sure this is turned up, and it's going to close in under his arms like that. There's the truck mode. going to unfold these sections and then swing them forward like this. And make sure that one's right. Swing this one out like that. Ultra Magnus's upper torso, you're going to take this, pivot it out like that. And then this is going to go into that port there. When you plug it in, that'll line up in place. And then it's got these sections here that will tab in along the length of it, like that. Flip that upside down, close these, lock them into place, and the forearm sections are going to go into those pegs right there. Like that. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and do the opposite side the same way. And you can see this is going to go into that little slot right there. Like that. Shoulder sections, you're going to pull these straight down like this. And they're going to lock into place like that. That is going to slide into pull this back out where you guys can see this. Sometimes it's easier if you just pull his legs back apart, put it in between there and lock it in place. And then these are going to go all the way back here in the back into the trailer. Get them to lock in. And there is his truck mode. I gotta say, I think they did a great job with this. I've seen the premium edition that they're coming out with, but I think this is a much better representation of Ultra Magnus. I like the battle damage and the weathering. I don't like the premium finish because everything's in gray. You know, I still like the blues and the red and the white color on the cab. I think that's more of a better representation of Ultra Magnus and, you know, a callback to his original G1 appearance. So guys, that is the Netflix Leader Class Ultra Magnus action figure.